Mr. Mayor.
Yeah. New seating arrangements going on, don't we?
Yes, sir.
Pretty proficient. Don't need to do order this man.
All right, Bishop Boda, leading prayer.
First of all, Father, Lord, we thank you for once again being able to serve this great community. We ask for your anointing in this meeting. Touch every member, touch the mayor, touch this entire city. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. I didn't get lost. Didn't know that thing was going to come out, Reedy. Okay, you see that we've changed things up. We're spread out more. Now, the recording is having trouble picking us up. So when you're speaking to your mic, get within 5 or 6 inches of it and pull your mask down like this when you talk.
Okay.
Okay? And when you're not, you do this.
Okay.
Roll call.
Councilmember Dietz.
He's on mute.
He's
Here,
Okay to go, right?
here.
No buttons I need to push, thank you.
Come on, Mike.
Councilmember Bolden.
Here.
Councilmember Blevins.
here.
Councilmember Sansing.
Here.
Councilmember Ray.
Here.
Councilmember Mashburn.
She told me she wouldn't be here tonight.
Okay. Councilmember Traylor.
Here.
Councilmember Twitty.
Here.
Councilmember Smith.
Here.
Councilmember Raines.
Here.
Mr. Mayor.
I'm here.
I have one absent, sir.
Thank you. Approval and our corrections of the minutes. Oh, we don't have any minutes. Yeah, sorry.
Y'all be lucky if y'all ever get any more.
And presentation of December 17th. So, do I hear anything on the consent agenda?
So move the consent agenda in its entirety.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Okay. Now we have a presentation by Jake Short of the Water Department. Jake, and I guess Jimmy told you the news.
What news? I didn't.
You're going to have to leave, so we're going to have more than 10 people so that Mr. Peacock can be in the room.
We had Alderman, he didn't show up.
Oh,
so-
okay, okay. So you can, oh, is that
I
you?
got him here.
Okay, is that him? Okay. All right, sorry, Jake, you can stay.
Okay, great.
You're not getting tossed.
Perfect. Before I get started, I would, of course, you mentioned Mr. Peacock. I would like to take a second just to recognize that he's here and chairman of the commission. I omitted to do that last year, so make sure I take care of that this year.
Glad to have you.
Good to have you.
Mayor, council, on behalf of the Water Commission, it's my honor tonight to provide you with our 2020 annual report. The Waterworks, once again, had 0 water quality violations to report.
Very good.
And has once again completed the year within budget, while providing the citizens of Jacksonville with the quality water and services that they not only deserve, but have come to expect. The projects completed in 2020 includes the installation of 4,801 linear feet of pipe, 9 additional fire hydrants, and 33 valves. Waterworks maintenance crews working alongside our GIS coordinator continue to renumber, re-reference, and GPS valve and fire hydrant locations in the distribution system. At the end of 2020, we had a total of 11,396 water meters in the system, which includes 64 new water services. In what can only be characterized as a unique year for us, I believe it's important to note that customer service remained a top priority for the Waterworks staff By unique, of course, I'm talking about our response to the COVID pandemic and the steps that we took to not only ensure that the duties and functions of the department were met, but also to protect our staff from any exposure and the public as well. And most notable of those steps was that we closed our lobby to the public. And in doing so, that led to alternatives such as the drive-through, phones, and the internet, our website being the primary mechanisms through which the customers could conduct business with the utility. And with that being said, with these new mechanisms, we saw a drastic increase in internet traffic via our website. Had a total of 26,121 online payments in 2020, totaling $2.5 million. So that system, which was already kind of growing in popularity, was a useful tool, especially this last year with everything going on. Water production decreased marginally for the year. We reached our peak demand of 4.3 million gallons a day. 4.3 million gallons. That was on July 3rd. This was a little bit lower than 2019's peak demand of 5 million gallons. Total production for the year was at 1.1178 billion gallons. That was just under a % increase from 2019. And our total, our average daily flow was at 3.22 million gallons a day. 2020 was also, it was our second full calendar year, as the privatized owner of the Little Rock Air Force Base water distribution system. Privatization, it's a 50-year contract for us that requires us to operate, maintain, repair, upgrade, and improve that water system. That system is comprised of 237,000 linear feet of pipe, 457 hydrants, 3 pump stations, and a 1.35 million gallon ground storage tank. In 2020, our Little Rock Air Force Base maintenance team completed the scheduled maintenance of 753 valves, 563 fire hydrants, completed the flow testing of all 457 fire hydrants, conducted training of Little Rock Air Force Base personnel, and continued the cross-connection control inspections of Little Rock Air Force Base facilities. It's important to note when talking about that system, we operated independently from the one here in town. I can also report that in 2020, that system had 0 water quality violations. We did this with a staff of 31 folks, 11 of which are licensed with the Department of Health to operate the system. It's been a unique year, like I said earlier, and on behalf of the commission, we appreciate the mayor, you and the council. We appreciate your confidence and your support in working with the commission. And with that, I'll entertain any questions, if there are any.
You say you had a little decrease in water?
Compared to last year, I mean, it's nominal, like it's a % different than as far as.
Do you think it's because restaurants were closed and schools weren't in and that sort of thing? And
possibly, but you've got more people at home and residential use is up.
Right.
So it balances itself out.
okay.
I have a question. First of all, I want to say I read over this pamphlet, and before getting on the city council, I really had no idea how much stuff went into this, and I think this is absolutely incredible what your team did, especially during a pandemic. So you definitely have to be congratulated on such an incredible effort in a otherwise very difficult year. So thank you for that. Now, I had seen in other locations or other areas, just like the city of Jacksonville, we did not shut off people's water due to not payment because of, the unemployment issues, work issues. Is that plan going to be continued into this new year? And is there any additional grants or anything they could use for kind of like debt forgiveness for the low-income families that maybe don't have the money right now to continue to pay the water bill?
That's a good question. We actually, we stopped shutting off for non-pay. I believe it was in early to mid-February.
It was.
Yep.
Yeah, started pretty early in that. We reinstituted that policy, started back shutting off October 1st. And that was not an easy decision to make, but we worked in unison with other utilities, other water utilities here in the metro area, in particular CAW, Benton, Bryant. Those folks were part of those conversations. We wanted to send a unified message. We did not want signals get crossed if one entity was shutting off and the other was not. You know, we all wanted to be on the same page. Even though that we're doing that, we're still, you know, as folks call and have issues, we're taking those on a case-by-case basis. So if there's a need from an individual or a business, we're working with those folks, be it a payment plan or whatever it may be. Not all situations are the same, but we're working with those folks.
Let me add to that too. Back when this happened, I contacted Jake and his staff and the chairman, and we got together on this, dealing with it. And I really appreciate you guys coming to the front to make sure we take care of the people. The major thing that we have to watch is those who may try to misuse the system.
Absolutely.
So I do appreciate you coming forward. And Jacksonville Water Works, you did a great job in supporting those families and making sure that we're taken care of. So I just want to personally thank you for taking a listening ear to what I said.
Yes, sir. And somewhere embedded in this report are bad debt numbers for 2020, and those doubled.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
largely for the reasons you discussed.
And I don't know if you're aware, but Teresa has funds for lower income families that will pay electric bill, water bills. So you could refer them to her and see if they would qualify. You gotta have a decrease in income and you gotta prove a few
Our
things.
staff up front's well versed in the options that are there for folks and direct those
Okay, and
people where they
I'm
can
kinda
go.
telling everybody out there in the cyber world, same thing. That can tell somebody that may need that help.
Yeah, one thing I'll say about Jacksonville Water Works, the people there, like you said, well versed, and if the customer is willing to listen and apply the principles, they'll be taken care of.
Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to say, as a 40-year employee of water distribution where I worked at, the city of Jacksonville does a very good job, and they are maintaining the operation. We had a problem one time in the Meadows Department. People claimed that our water was getting them blisters and things, but I met with them and proved to them that, hey, they was the one causing the blisters of city water. Our water is tested all the time for human consumption. Thank you, Waterworks. Appreciate it.
Just for those that don't know, the water quality in central Arkansas is the best of EPA Region 6.
It's actually better than bottled water.
Let's give them a good hand. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jake.
Thank y'all.
Thea, you're up.
Okay.
Now we talk about where the water goes after you drink it.
And after you flush it. Mayor and council members, thank you so much. I always look forward to this one time each year that I get to come and share with you what we've been doing. And so I appreciate the opportunity to do that again this year. It's a little bit different, but I guess this will work out. I did want to mention, Mr. Reedy asked me about the picture on the front of our report and what that was. And so I was going to mention that. I came to work one morning, you know, after COVID had started and the mask mandate had come out, and there was a backhoe parked at the front near our gate with a mask on, a backhoe with a mask on. And the construction guys had done that when they had gotten off work the night before and had left it there for us to see the next morning. It was really cute, kind of lightened our load a little bit, you know, made us a little bit happy. So I thought I'd use that for the front cover of our report.
Very good.
Sewer commissioners this year, Mr. Fred Belot's our chair, John Farrell is our vice chair, Eddie Porter, Bob Williams, and Jerry Sanders are our commissioners. And just to give you a little bit of a recap about the sewer system, we have about 179 miles of gravity sewer line and it's anywhere from 6 inch to 42 inches. We have about 12 miles of force main, and we've got about 3,800 manholes in the system. The earliest part of our system is over 60 years old, so it requires a lot of rehab, and that's where we put a lot of our efforts. We also have 14 remote pump stations. Our wastewater utility has what we consider 5 different departments. We have a technical services, an operations department, a laboratory, collection system, and of course administration. Our technical service department handles all of our investigations. So if you ever have a problem, your toilet won't flush, or you see an overflowing manhole or anything like that, those are the guys who are going to show up, and they're going to use televising equipment, cleaning equipment, all the different equipment at their disposal to take care of the problem. Their report is found on pages 3 and 4, and just a few of their statistics are they cleaned 56 miles of line, and that's about a third of our system, and we try to clean a third each year so that every 3 years the entire system has been cleaned. They televised about 9 miles of line, inspected 224 manholes, 155 private service lines, and they made 2,582 line locates. Then we have our operations department, which is our treatment plant, our laboratory, and the maintenance of all the equipment, and also the pretreatment program that works with the industries in town. And this year, our treatment operators completed their 25th consecutive year without a permit violation.
All right, all right.
They're very, very proud of that record, and the equipment is getting older. It's getting a little bit harder to maintain the plant, and so every time there's a huge rain event, they get real scared that this is going to be the time. But so far, we can at least count on the 25 years. This year, we treated over 1.9 billion gallons of wastewater. We accepted 7.8 million gallons from Two Pine Landfill, their leachate water. We had no violations from any of our inspections from the Department of Environmental Quality. They came and inspected the plant. They inspected our solid waste facility. They inspected our laboratory. They did a very in-depth test of our pretreatment program, and so we passed all of those. This year, one of our projects was to complete new LED lighting throughout the whole entire treatment plant and in all of our buildings. And we were able to save about $276,000 over a 10-year lifespan by putting in the new lights. Our laboratory performed 13,620 analytical tests this year. And then we have our collection system department, and those are the guys that take care of the lines and the manholes out in the city. And we had 5,867 feet of line replaced this year. We repaired 93 manholes, and we replaced 7 new ones, or put in 7 new ones. They performed 7 street cuts, which includes laying the line across the street and then putting the street back together. This year, 44% of all of our mainline calls were related to grease blockages, which is up from previous years. So we need to, I guess, do a little bit better job of plastering the "Don't pour your grease down the drain" logo all over the place. The good news is, though, that only 1 out of 18 of our mainline calls was caused by inflow and infiltration coming into the system. So our rehab is doing a good job. Homeowners repaired 69 service lines this year. And then, of course, our administration department handles all of our financial management and our personnel, and we received a good audit, which comes to you guys and goes in with your audit. Our overall operating revenue was down slightly, just barely, right at 1%, and part of that was due to what Jake said, less water usage. Part of it was due to lower interest rates on our funds that we have in savings. We were able to refund our revenue bonds this year, and we saved $1.7 million over the next 19 years, and we were able to do that without extending the term. So it was very good savings, and very good that we were able to do that right before all the, the decrease and everything hit, and we were able to get that in time. We have 9 employees who have collection system certifications. We have 19 who have wastewater operator licenses. 6 of those are Class 4. We have 5 solid waste licenses, 7 plumbing inspector licenses, and 15 commercial driver's license. We had a couple of people who got some awards this year. Of course, most of our conferences and training and everything was canceled due to COVID, but Kenny Freemeyer received our in-house Employee Excellence Award. And then Mike Overstreet was recognized by the Department of Environmental Quality for serving 6 years on the Wastewater Licensing Committee. And then I wanted to just kind of let you know a little bit about what we're starting this year and what we're going to be doing in the next couple of years, because we've got some very big projects coming up. We are currently in the design process for a plant upgrade and some rehabilitation. There's some of our equipment that is 30 years old now, and it's kind of on its last leg, and so we've got some very big pieces of equipment we need to replace. We're going to replace 3 72-inch screw pumps. We're going to replace and get a new filter system, and we're going to add a biological nutrient recovery system. We don't have the final cost estimate yet because it's all still in the design phase, and so we're expecting it to be somewhere in the range of $15 million. And I'm sharing this with you because we'll probably be coming back to you to talk about a bond issue or some type of financing for a portion of it. Not for the whole thing, but for a portion of it. We'll also be relocating the lines on Highway 67, 167 this year, or at least they tell us it's going to be this year. We've been ready for a while, so that's supposed to happen this year. And then we'll be relocating some lines for the bridge overpass on Loop Road. So we've got those 3 big projects coming up that I wanted to share with you and let you know what we got going on. So, anybody have any questions?
I have a question for you.
Okay.
So looking at the paperwork where you guys replaced the LED lights for your center to save $27,000, how many lights did you replace? And was that a grant, or did you guys pay for it out of pocket, or did you work a deal with the electric company, and which company was it?
Yes, to almost all of that, except for the grant part. We replaced all of the street lights out in our treatment plant, and I don't know how many there are, but we have several lights out there. We have operators who work 24/7, and so they're out there in the dark at night. We replaced all of those and then all of our buildings. And we got a rebate from Entergy for, I want to say about $36,000, I think, was our total rebate on that. And then we were able to pay for it with our funds that we already reserved funds.
And the savings number that you gave us is over how many years?
Over 10 years.
I mean, $250,000 over 10 years is pretty good. Save money. Oh, $30,000 a year is a good chunk of money to save. Do you suggest this after seeing this money saved? Do you think this should be something that should be done at other locations?
It probably would be a good idea to at least look at it in other locations. In our case, we have the big street lights, like big light poles. And so in our case, it was pretty significant. I don't know if it would be that significant if it were just buildings or what, but when there are big lights involved, probably so.
Well, thank you very much for everything your team does, and I wouldn't want to have to get down there and do that. And I think it's definitely awesome that they do. So, thank you.
You're welcome.
Just so that you would know and the council knows, but before too long, there's going to be a presentation coming before you. We're looking at solar, LED lighting, doing many things that'll be a revenue neutral thing, but it also be major upgrades. So I get that presentation Tuesday, and then sometime after that they'll come to council and do the presentation for y'all. Because I think it's important. You looked at solar. Mm-hmm. Did you decide not to do solar?
We decided to just hold off a little while.
Right. And so we're going to listen to their presentation, what they want to do, and then council make the decision.
I want to personally thank you for everything you do out there. You and your team do awesome, and tell the ones who won the awards, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Thea, and your team. Very professional people, very friendly when you see them out in the field. Thank you.
I missed out on Thanksgiving this year.
Yeah. We did too. We missed out on that too.
Yeah, well, of course, I visited my house too, so that's all right.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
You do a great job.
And I just want to state that Thea is one of the ones that also won those awards.
Yes, yes. That's correct.
Congratulations.
Earl.
She's been doing that for years, she's tough.
Yes.
All right, so that brings us to ordinance 1652. I entertain a motion to place ordinance 1652 on first reading.
So move.
And a motion, a second, any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Deets,
Turn on your mic.
Councilmember Deets. Oh, he's there.
He's saying yes. I see his mouth moving. Unmute yourself, Mike.
I got him down.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up, thumbs down, Mike. Yay!
Councilmember Bolden,
Aye.
Councilmember Blevins,
Aye.
Councilmember Sansing,
Aye.
Councilmember Ray,
Aye.
Councilmember Trailer,
Aye.
Councilmember Twitty,
Aye.
Councilmember Smith,
Aye.
Councilmember Raines,
Aye.
Ordinance number 1652, an ordinance reclassifying property in the city of Jacksonville, Arkansas, amending ordinance number 213 and 238, and the land use map of the city of Jacksonville, Arkansas, declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
Jimmy, would you explain this, what we did and why we did it?
Yes. I didn't have a map for y'all, and I apologize for that. This property is out by the liquor store on TP White Drive. When we annexed that area, we zoned all that commercial. Well, there was a house, and that guy owned like 40 acres. He parceled off that house and had it platted down to about 2 acres and wanted to sell it. The owners, under their request, would like to have that rezoned to residential in case it burned or something, they could rebuild it. If it was commercial, they couldn't have. So it sounded like a good deal to me. I would highly recommend it.
And they're gonna live there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. The owner,
So it ought to be residential. If they're gonna
it
live
should.
there. Okay. Any questions? Okay, I'd entertain a motion to approve on first reading and place on second reading.
So move.
Second.
And motion second, any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Deets,
Aye.
Councilmember Bolden,
Aye.
Councilmember Blevins,
Aye.
Councilmember Sansing,
Aye.
Councilmember Ray,
Aye.
Councilmember Trailer,
Aye.
Councilmember Twitty,
Aye.
Councilmember Smith,
Aye.
Councilmember Raines.
Aye.
All right. So I'd entertain a motion to approve on second reading, placed on third and final reading.
So move. Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Councilmember Deets,
Aye.
Councilmember Bolden,
Aye.
Councilmember Blevins,
Aye.
Councilmember Sansing,
Aye.
Councilmember Ray,
Aye.
Councilmember Trailer,
Aye.
Councilmember Twitty,
Aye.
Councilmember Smith,
Aye.
Councilmember Raines.
Aye.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion to approve and adopt ordinance 1652. Stephanie, does this have emergency clause?
So
Yes,
move.
it does.
Okay.
So move.
I got a motion, second, any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Councilmember Deets,
Aye.
Councilmember Bolden,
Aye.
Councilmember Blevins,
Aye.
Councilmember Sansing,
Aye.
Councilmember Ray,
Aye.
Councilmember Trailer,
Aye.
Councilmember Twitty,
Aye.
Councilmember Smith,
Aye.
Councilmember Raines.
Aye.
I'd entertain a motion to adopt the tax emergency clause.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Councilmember Deets,
Aye.
Councilmember Bolden,
Aye.
Councilmember Blevins,
Aye.
Councilmember Sansing,
Aye.
Councilmember Ray,
Aye.
Councilmember Trailer,
Aye.
Councilmember Twitty,
Aye.
Councilmember Smith, Councilmember Smith,
Aye.
Councilmember Raines.
Aye.
Okay, so we have adopted it, and thank you very much. Okay, we, of course, don't have Barbara here, so there's no use for our committee meeting. Resolution, next is, resolution 802. I'd entertain a motion to, read resolution 802.
So move.
Second.
Got a motion, second. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, nay.
Resolution 802, a resolution in support of and authorizing execution of sale documents by the City of Jacksonville for certain real property described herein and for other purposes. And to clarify, the general location is not 132 Galloway. I provided an updated version to Susan clarifying that issue.
Jimmy, would you care to explain what this is and why we're doing it, the benefits for us?
Yes, this is for the construction, to buy the property to construct the railroad overpass at Loop Road. There's, I believe, it's 10 parcels or tracts of land that is needed to do that, and we'd like the council to approve us to go in and negotiate to purchase those properties, if you would. I think you have a copy of all the appraisals in front of you, and
so we still have to deal with the wetland issue, but we need this so that we can go ahead and get that wetland issue out of the way, because I'm not sure we could even be able to build the bridge if we had to move it because of the railroad track switch. So we need to get this adopted, get it done, and get negotiating on that wetland. Is that correct?
that is correct, sir. There is still one piece that's under lease right now on one of the parcels of land owned by Holland Bottoms LLC that they have at leased to the National Resource Commission for wetlands. We have been in contact with them and negotiating. If we can get into an agreement to purchase these properties, they're more likely will release that 0.8 acres we need on one of those tracts to do it. And that's not a guarantee yet, but we're still in negotiations with them. But the next step is to allow us to purchase these 10 tracts.
But until they agree, we're not going to spend this money.
That is correct, until they agree, because the bridge has to be redesigned, which would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and moved, if even possible, then, because the railroad has a switch to the south end of that Loop Road crossing. So there's a lot of unknowns and what ifs if this don't go through.
Okay.
Anybody, any questions?
Questions?
Yeah.
Council?
I don't know, are we voting to?
Question, Tara Smith.
Go ahead, Tara.
Go ahead.
Okay, has a settlement been made between the city and Mr. Peacock on track 8 and 10?
No,
Before we vote on this?
no, ma'am. That's what we're here tonight,
Okay.
to get approval on.
That was actually my question too.
There's been no settlement with none of the properties until the council approves it.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
That's okay. There's obviously a disagreement in price, so I think we need to address that.
We got Mr. Peacock here to address his request for more than the appraised value. Yes, ma'am. And he submitted a letter that I forwarded in y'all's packages, I think. Did you get that?
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
I did. I'm just asking what the process is before we vote on this.
As you can see in his letter, he's requesting more than the appraised value, and he put explanation in that letter. If you have any questions for him, would y'all approve paying his requested amount? That was one of the questions.
That's what we're doing. We're saying.
Yes.
Because everybody else has verbally agreed to these prices, and so if we pass this, then we're basically through the negotiation process, and we'll move on to NRC.
Well, I want to say, like, I looked into this, and the track 8, like, he did definitely have it filled. Like, I mean, I remember when that was even done. Like, he had it filled, and I think the price for track 8 is right on par, and I think maybe that it wasn't taken into account when the appraiser looked into it. But I'm kind of torn on the price on track 10. But again, we're dealing with millions of dollars, so, $7,000, difference on track 10 kind of seems like a moot point when we're trying to do something that's millions of dollars.
I agree.
And that could end up killing the project or costing us $300,000 or $400,000 more dollars on the project.
Correct, Mayor.
I definitely would ask if Mr. Peacock would go down on his valuation on track 10. But other than that, I think track 8 is dead on.
Jim, room for negotiation?
Mayor, can we hear from Mr. Peacock, please?
Yes, you are. He's at the microphone. He's fiddling with his ear.
Get my hearing aids back on.
Oh, yeah.
All right, he's online. If someone has a question of Mr. Peacock.
Mayor and council, I'm Jim Peacock, for those that do not know me. I'm co-owner on this property with Jordan Perry. We've owned it for about 25 years. We've spent over $100,000 in filling track 8. We're allowing the city, the water department, sewer department to fill in track, the other side, on the east side of the railroad tracks, whatever that number is. And we have asked for $52,000 on both tracks. The track originally is a 32-acre track, 8 acres on one side, which is on the west side, and the rest of it's on the east side. The price I think that we have negotiated on with the mayor and Jimmy is a fair price. I don't wish to go to court on it, and I hope y'all will look at it and come up with my price that we've asked for. And track 8 has been, both appraisals that I looked at on it were saying that the track 8, they said it was still in the floodplain and the floodway. Well, it has never been in the floodway, and we filled it to 2 feet above the requirement for the government on track 8. And we put a lot of money in doing that, and that's why I think this is a very fair price that we've asked for. So I'll try to answer any questions you might have on it.
Any other questions?
Well, only thing I have, Mr. Peacock, is, and I get the appraisers.
Pass down. Be sure you're close to your mic, Mike, because it's not recording well.
Okay, I agree with the appraisals are subject to who's doing the appraisal, but what I would like, if it would be at all possible, to have another appraiser, not the same appraiser go back and do it again, but a different appraiser to see if there's, how close, is he closer to your number or is he closer to the original number? And I feel sure he's probably going to be a lot closer to your number, but I would just feel more comfortable with that because it's, I mean, it's triple what he's basically said it's appraised at. And is that possible that we could have a entirely different appraiser appraise that property?
Be up to the city.
Yeah, no, I was looking at Jimmy, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Sure, it's possible.
I mean, that's my only concern.
Cost, Jimmy?
It's about $2,000.
$2,000?
Huh?
About $2,000?
At least for commercial, for the taking, it'll be a little bit more, a lot more study and research in it.
I mean, because, you know, and in all honesty, I was a little different than Mr. Blevins, and I was okay with the other track, track 10, with what you're asking for. But I thought track 8, there should be a middle ground maybe in there that we could come to on that. But,
Well, my whole deal, like, number one, if we're looking at spending $2,000, I have another. I mean, that already eliminates some of the margin that was you know, adds to the cost already. And for value for track 8, again, it's obvious that they didn't take into account the filling, and they did think that it was a floodway. And looking at the other property values in that area that were not in the floodway, I think 37.8 is a great price. Just looking at the land in that area. My only concern was again, I know it's $1,000 an acre for that tract 10 acre, but again, that price is only like $600. You know, $600 for what this area that is in the floodway. So I feel that it should have been at like around $7,000 or $665. So I'm just letting you know where I came up with my numbers at, so you don't think that I was just. You know,
Everybody's got their own opinion.
Whatever, but I believe that track 8 is perfect. Spending more money, I mean, I guess we can do that, but I mean, it's just going to delay things anyway. And again, we are talking about millions of dollars, you know, so that's just my thought process.
Track,
May I insert my 2 cents worth?
Yes.
I believe we should go ahead and pay the difference to Mr. Peacock in recognition of the improvements that he has made over the property there. And in looking forward and going ahead with the project as much as possible, as a bridge over Loop Road would be a great boon to this side of Jacksonville.
I agree.
And the sooner it gets built, the better it is, and quibbling over a few thousand here, a few thousand there, when a redesign would probably cost $300,000 does not make sense to me.
I also
I'm gonna step in on there too, Terry, knowing the property. Not that I'm an appraiser either, but, know the land values in Jacksonville pretty well. And, Mr. Peacock's, helped me on other values and done lots of, work, but, I feel like that the value is fair too. An appraisal is the opinion of that appraisal based on what he's looking at. And you can do 3 or 4 appraisals, spend a lot of money. But in my opinion, it's always their opinion, and it's what the land is valued in their opinion. And I feel like that with all the work that's done and with where we're going with it, to us it's worth even more. And to spend more money to get an appraisal is a waste of money, because you can have another one and then another one, and they're all going to be different because it's their opinion. But based on our need, I think it's a good value for the money, and I would be for it also.
It's true.
Any further discussion?
I'm gonna
Just,
take you guys credit for it, you know, I think, cause I know Mr. Peacock,
Pull this down, Reed, so we can hear you.
I know Mr. Peacock has been a supporter of the city of Jacksonville all a lifetime. And I'm thinking he would come forward with something that wouldn't try to break the city of Jacksonville. He'd try to improve the city of Jacksonville. So if it's possible, I move that we adopt the resolution.
Okay.
Do you have
You know,
some-
to
Yeah,
with the necessary connections.
just to clarify, the
Pull
tract,
your mask down and speak to your mic.
the tract that was part of the wetlands, which tract was that?
Yes.
No, this is,
It's neither
track,
one.
track 10 was,
track 10 has some wetland in
Okay.
Okay.
I was, and that's the one that Holland Bottom is leasing out
no.
to the.
No.
Okay, which one is that?
What's the track that NRC's over?
I'd have to look at y'all's packet, I don't have one of y'all's packets, I refer to city clerk, tell them which track number, Holland Bottom LLC's in.
Is it written on there?
All you gotta do is tell them where it's at, Jimmy. We can understand it.
It's right on the side of Loop Road.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there.
It's
Tell them where
right
it's at.
past,
The bridge.
Hunter's Chase.
Right.
Right there, yeah.
Yeah, it's just right to the south of Hunter's Chase driveway.
You know where that's at, you know where that's at, Ray?
Yeah,
What
and
talking
you
about?
said that it was being leased out to natural
To
resources.
the Commission for Wetlands.
Okay, and
Is
is
that right,
there
Ian?
It's correct.
is there any like unique natural resources on that tract?
It being wet,
Yeah.
That's-
for obvious reasons, but that's it, to my knowledge.
Okay,
That's correct.
And,
And it's gonna be a difficult task to get that released. And that-
Right.
and we're
That's another big
swapping
hurdle.
other wetlands to natural resource for this land. So they're not losing any wetland. Actually, they could stand to gain some wetland through it. But then they may have to give them more money for their lease because their lease is off. So,
I've got one more question before we vote.
okay,
This is an all or nothing. We're either getting all of these or none of these, correct?
Right.
right.
Okay.
Correct.
I have
Yeah.
no further questions.
Okay.
I need a second to read his motion.
All right, I got a second. All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, nay. Okay, the motion carried.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Peacock, and thank you
all
for
you're
your
doing in the
service to
community.
the commission and to Jacksonville.
Yes.
The
Thank
water,
you, sir. Thank you for your service of duty.
as long as you keep your marbles, I'll keep you on the water commission.
Oh, that's encouraging.
Unless Jake says, whoa, no. Okay, that brings us to items of discussion. Item B, Councilmember Blevins, you're recognized.
Yeah, my discussion was for us to use the city's social media to inform citizens of open job opportunities and possibly add the ability to apply for these jobs online to the actual city website, the cityofjacksonville.net. The whole reason for this is the city itself doesn't have a master Facebook page. It doesn't have a master social media page. What happens is we have Public Works, we have, the fire department, we have the police department, we have human resources, we have all these different areas, but we should have one like main area for people to look at, and then from that we can actually even post an RSS feed to the front of the City of Jacksonville main page so people can be updated on things that are being done. And it is literally just as simple. All the people who have all the different pages, like the Parks and Rec, like the Farmers Market, all they have to do is after they end up posting something, they just go click on share, go to a page they've managed, click, and they automatically share it to the main page. I think that we need to have an actual finite location for all the important information, and jobs are definitely super important right now. So those are my points I'd like to discuss.
And I know you've discussed this with HR
I did.
and it's picked up by all the other pages when they post jobs. And we're working on changing our application to a Word document so you can download it, fill it in, and resubmit it. So that is already in the works.
Well, the city webpage, just like all the other city web pages, are basically a box that has a wrapper around it. And inside you can put other little individual boxes. Now they make widgets and other accessories to where you just click and drop into the box to add a secure application process for people to apply online, because frankly, people looking for jobs, they may not have printers. They may not have, Word. They may not have the ability to do all that. So having it all based right there on the main page allows accessibility for everyone. You would even be able to access it on your phone and apply through your phone if you wanted to. And again, it's just as easy as clicking and dragging and dropping, just like a RSS feed is clicking, dragging, and dropping. And again, like I said, creating a Facebook page, I think is definitely something we should do, because right now people are watching this city council meeting on YouTube, but we could be sharing this and having to go through our Facebook page, or even having it play on the main page of the City of Jacksonville by just a click and a drop.
Mayor, can I say something?
Yeah.
We already have it where you can fill it in, and then we ask you to save it to your computer, and then you can email it to the HR at cityofjacksonville.net. They don't necessarily have to print it anymore. Okay, it is a fillable application, and they fill it in, and I save it to their drive, and then they can email it to us. We've had people do that from their phones and from the Facebook page.
Yeah, and I'm not doubting that we have that ability. I'm just saying it's the next general progression. Like moving to a full application process online is the next general progression. Like, there's businesses and places all over that have it, and literally it shouldn't cost anything to click and drag and do that and drop that in to make it just that much easier.
And that being the widget, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Widgets, it just creates an additional page. you know, that when they click on it, they go to it. You know, not to mention whenever we do post, like right now, looking at the job postings on the City of Jacksonville page, it shows that the item was listed like November of 2019 and has been currently open. I know that it may not mean a lot, but I mean, first take and looking at it, you know, why does this say 2019? It shows that we haven't updated it in now 2 years, you know? It's just something that we keep it fresh, keep people involved with what's happening, keep them looking at it. Because when you add new things, if they're not looking at it, they're not gonna see the new addition either.
Mayor, can I say something else?
Yeah.
Those jobs that are listed like from 2019, those are usually like our activity monitor jobs, our shooting range jobs, where keep those jobs open all year round to get a good source of applicants. If someone leave, we have a source of applicants and that director can go through those right away. We don't have to repost it for another 2 weeks. We try to keep those positions that have a high turnover rate, we try to keep those positions open. Now we have a full-time position or something like that. Those jobs are only open for 2 weeks. Police and fire are open at least 6 months out of the year.
So right now, currently, is there an open job at the shooting range?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and
season where there is tournament times and we need just weekend work.
okay, so like there are people that could apply right now and get a job,
Yes, sir.
and also the same with the Monterey, basically I guess the worker at the city, the community center.
Yes, sir. Right now we need 3 activity monitors. We also need 3 or 4 people at the shooting range. Like I said, PD is open for 6 months. Fire is open for 6 months because we keep those jobs posted.
Well, if we, again, I'm not denying the fact that there is an ability to do this. I'm just saying that using social media, which is the main form of contact that we have with people now, especially in a COVID world, having a location and posting these items saying, hey, look, we still need 3 people. Hey, look, we still need 2 people here. Again, when it's stagnant year round and you have a post on there, maybe people don't understand the urgency that the city needs of people being on there.
And
I'm just saying, when you post something up there, it kicks up to the front to let it know that it's fresh and it's new and it's something that they're looking for right now. When you have something that's there year round, it's not anything special. Like, it's not anything new. They just consider it exactly what it is, a posting that's been up for 2 years.
We receive several phone calls when those jobs are posted. Hey, are y'all still accepting application? We say yes to that. We also, once we post something on Facebook, we post all of our jobs anytime we have an opening. And I'm very fortunate that I have 3 council members, Tara, Mary, Bishop Olden. They share on their page. The police department also shares on their page. Fire department. I even share on my personal page. We also have 3 Facebook websites that we post to, like online Arkansas Jobs. Indeed picks our jobs up for free. We also have KRAK4. They also post our jobs. They pick them up from our Facebook page. So,
All right, let me ask this: Would it hurt to do it? Would it hurt to have a Facebook page that's specifically an official City of Jacksonville page? Is there any issue with having that?
I have a question. Who's going to monitor and who's going to administrate that page? And do we have the staffing?
I mean, do we already have people that are dealing with social media as it is?
Okay.
They do it by department.
Yeah. And
right. So you have this main page, and all they have to do is click and share. Like the same departments can moderate themselves by clicking and sharing on the same page.
You're gonna end up with some, like during festival, Parks and Rec posts this constantly, so it takes
Sorry, Mayor, I
away-
couldn't hear what you said.
During like festival, Parks and Rec is posting constantly. What you're gonna lose PD and Fire's identity, which is their identity, that, you know, that shares what they do, and
Well, they
you're
still
gonna
do it on
get too
their
much
page,
on, you're gonna
but
get
right
too
down the
much
bottom
on
after they
that.
make a post, there's just this little button that you say share, and then you click on the main city page and it shares it over there. It's literally 2 clicks, like it's two
Brian, I'd
additional
like to say
clicks.
something. I'd like to say something.
Sure.
I think our department heads are doing a great job advertising for each department. Parks and
Better
the
bandwidth.
police department, fire range, like you said, the festival, it's constant. It's kind of like it's not broke, so why are we trying to fix something that's really working for the city?
Is it working though?
I mean, I see Parks and Recs daily on there. I mean, it's just constant. Every time there's a job opening, I happen to see it. I share it. Charlotte puts them on there all the time.
I'm just talking about for specific.
I can talk for Parks and Recs because I'm over there a lot. And people that are doing the sports over there, they go straight to Parks and Recs page. They just talk Jacksonville Parks and Recs and they're there. It's not broke.
Let me say something. I got a question I want to ask HR. Are you having a problem with your system right now? Yes or no?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, I heard the comment about it'll make it easier for people to find jobs. There are no jobs opening. If the date is, example is November 19, you know, it makes them think, okay, well, if a person want a job, they're going to come to get the job. Anybody that's hungry going to go get some food. So the changing of a social media is not going to make more people come for a job. Those who want to work going to come to work. But if
it's not gonna
HR,
hurt.
if HR,
It's not gonna hurt.
let me finish. If HR is satisfied with what we have, then we stick with what HR has.
I agree.
Charlotte, can I ask you one question? You said Indeed picks the jobs up for free.
Yes, sir.
Are you? Now I know when we use Indeed, people are able to apply online. Do you get an email when people apply for the jobs?
We don't get an email, but they'll call and say, hey, I tried to apply on Indeed, and I tell them what website to go to. Go to our cityofjacksonville.net, or we either email them an application.
Okay, so they can't apply online through Indeed?
Not from Indeed.
Okay.
That is the cost.
Okay.
The whole thing is cost. You know, you don't want to pay for something you have to.
So, does it just like not cost for nonprofits or to actually have the application process on Indeed? Because like I get I know that you said that you use it. I get it all the time, you know, as far as do I have any jobs to post, you know, and from my understanding, it is a free service to use their application system. Is it not?
We do not pay anything.
Because they have a generic application, and we have certain questions on our applications for the police and fire. Are you over 16? Are you 20 and a half to be able to take the test? The police department has at least a 10-page application that you have to fill out to apply for police. If we have a TSO, that's another 10 pages. So it depends on what position you're applying for. Each application might be different.
I agree with that. If it was a police or fire, that needs to be something that's, I feel like, filled out by a person.
Right.
But some of the more seasonal work, it may be that we could post on it Indeed and they could apply online
Right.
for the seasonal, like Parks and Rec type jobs. Something to look into, maybe. Satisfy everybody.
Yes, sir, I will check into that.
The spots that are available at the shooting range, how long have they been available?
Probably since we opened it, Brian. I think they have a little bit of turnover due to the seasonal help.
Same with the activity monitor. They just have. I'm just saying, if we're using all these things, then we should have, we should have a bunch of people that want to have these jobs. So, I mean, are we not constantly just filling them? Like, I mean, why is there always empty positions? I'm just saying, it's just another avenue for people to.
Well, the reason there's a lot of open positions is because it's called turnover. People come in for a job for a while, then they'll go. They come in for a while, then they'll go. We experience that in every area where the jobs are like that, where it doesn't take much degrees and stuff like that to get it.
I think, Mr. Mayor, I think the H&R department and all our department are doing a wonderful job.
I do.
You just can't make people come to work and do jobs. I don't care how much information you put out there, you just can't make people do it.
Okay.
And they're seasonal jobs, they don't pay well, they're not full-time, they don't have benefits, so, yeah. So, there's lots of reasons.
Ryan, would you be open to moving to discussion item number C?
What do you mean?
Moving on to the next one.
Oh, you want to move on? Sure.
All right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Item C.
Yeah, item C, which I think this already got talked about. I was want to discuss opening City Hall for a limited number of citizens to attend city council meetings. Like talking with the Department of Health and the Department of Environmental Health. All they need is a floor plan and a plan that we set up. And as long as we show that they're social distancing, we can definitely have more than 10 people in the city council chambers. And I have an example of the ordinance from Ward, Cabot, and Sherwood that shows their floor plan to where they're able to have more than 10 people. And I just want to know what you guys think about opening it back up to have citizens come in.
With this newest governor's order,
the governor's mandate is for 10, but this allows the exception.
but it also leaves, you can get permission to the health department, but you're still liable, whoever owns that venue is still liable if anything goes wrong, and I don't feel comfortable putting the city at liability risk.
I'm not comfortable opening it up. We're not even all there yet.
Right, we gotta get the 10 of us here and 10 of y'all here before we get, public here. And yes, I'd like to have public here, and then we're gonna have that discussion, how do we do that? How many will in? How do we put the seating? Cause when the governor lists the second order, then we don't have to go through the health department.
And not only that, also when you come here during the day, you've got to have your temperature checked. You got to have tracing put in. So that means if we open it up to the public, we're going to have temperature check. Somebody's going to be at that door. We're going to have tracing, not only just the spacing, but the tracing.
Right.
So that opens up a whole nother can of worms. And like you say, we don't even have all our comrades in here for the city council. So it's no need to even
We don't
consider
have
that.
our directors here, we don't, so, yeah. So as long as this governor keeps this current order, then, we're still a ways away. We need more vaccines.
And the new strain is out now too, by the way.
Yeah. Okay, could we move?
I agree.
Could we move to item D?
I'm sorry, did you guys say move on to D?
Yeah.
Yes.
D was recognizing social media comments via YouTube as public comments during city council meetings, A&P commission meetings, planning commission, basically any meeting that takes place in the city council chambers and uses the Zoom process. Essentially, what happens is this is live fed to YouTube. I know that one time there was the mayor set up a time to accept phone in for people to call in to his cell phone, like utilizing the YouTube chat system. You can actually click and just pop out that little chat system, and whoever's running the Zoom or whoever has access to YouTube can be the moderator, because they already are the moderator just by having it accessed on there. But you just pop it over into the window, and you have people message ahead of time, hey, look, I would like to speak during this, or I have something that I would like to mention, at the next city council meeting, and they can actually, you know, talk. Basically, they have the ability to give their, you know, I guess rebuttals or acceptance to things that they want to say. Right now, we don't really have an ability for people other than to send an email to Susan for it to be read. So I'm just thinking something easy. Like there's people that are already watching the YouTube channel, so why not open it up to allow them to put their comments on there in moderation? Because I know there's going to be some trolls out there that probably post some stuff that they don't need to, but you have that anyway.
Well, Brian, I think a little bit of that is, you know, being on the planning commission, we have a lot of stuff coming before us. The last couple of meetings, we have had time for public comments, those that are there to speak in. We got to be very careful because it gets to be a forum of people griping their complaints and throwing out a whole bunch of things. You know, we had to stop the planning commission meeting. You were there listening.
I was there.
And people were bringing up things that had nothing to do with the issue. And I think the way we do it, you know, with, you know, letting people, you know, get on the agenda and then we'll let them speak. I think it lets us get set up for what they're going to speak, and it doesn't get to be a public forum of disagreeing with somebody for no reason. I got into that when I was on the HUD board, and we allowed some people to come in that were not on the agenda. Excuse me, we let them speak, and it got pretty rowdy because they were bringing up things that had nothing to do with the discussion that was supposed to be, so we had to stop it. But to me, I think that they want to speak, just like if I'm going to speak on the school board, I've got to go ahead and get on there, you know, 5 days prior, and then they'll approve or disapprove it. And I think the way we do it works pretty good, but that's my opinion as you know, myself. But that, you know, I just don't want to get into a public forum debate there. That's for another time.
Absolutely.
Brian, can I make a point? Sorry, Stephanie here. My concern from a legal standpoint is if we start to censor some of the comments, as you said, sometimes there are people who don't have the best motives commenting. If we kind of start to skip over those and go to the comments that we deem appropriate, I'm worried that some people will think that we're picking favorites or choosing which comments we would like to hear, if that makes sense. So I feel like it's kind of an all or nothing thing almost. So if we can't really control, sorry, go ahead.
No, I interrupted you. Sorry, I think there's a lag between you talking and me talking. So sorry, I wasn't trying to talk over you.
No worries, I'm done.
Again, like say at the beginning of the city council meetings before the COVID issue took place, the mayor had a piece of paper up there where people were able to go up there and sign and write down their name. And then once the meeting stopped, or once the meeting started, that was closed off. Again, people commenting in the chat, like before the actual video starts, they could comment that they want to talk. And then when it gets to the time, like we cut off the people that, you know, we cut off when the video starts. You know, we cut off when the actual meeting starts, kind of like we did when the meeting was actually happening in person. And then those are the only people that are allowed to comment during that time.
I always remember that when the meeting was in person, they would come up and fill out the form. After the time was about to start, we take the form and give it to the mayor. Now, when those people came up, they had so many minutes to speak, and that was it. If they went over that, we would say, okay, your time's up. However, if you open it up on Zoom, like what you're talking about doing.
Not Zoom.
Okay,
on YouTube chat.
Okay, either way, if you open it up publicly on YouTube channel, you're not going to have full control on it. And like you said, someone's going to have to monitor that, move this over here, like the attorney just said. That could bring up some complaints in that area. I think the best way that's going on is, like you said, that our Susan is receiving emails on who wants to make a comment or have a comment, and we read it. And that way we have a controlling point, because in a public forum such as this, you have to have a controlling point.
And don't forget, any citizen can ask a council member to put something.
That's right, sure can.
Yes.
We got a comment.
Yes.
We have to remember that our city council meetings are the business meetings to conduct the city business. It is not the same as having an open house or a city forum is to conduct the business of the city.
It's not a town hall meeting.
It's not a town hall meeting.
Could I suggest one thing when we have, that may help in, as far as getting the public involved? if they do have a comment, is that when we have an ordinance, I think if you look, ordinances are made to be read at 3 different meetings, not to be read all in one meeting. If there is something, I think there is nothing wrong with reading it once, giving the public time to know about it before we vote on it all 3 times and approve it. Because so many things happen that we approve it in one night and we didn't know about it until Tuesday, and on the meetings on Thursday. I think that would be one way that the public could be kept involved. And that way, if they have something they want, they can address it with someone and then maybe ask to speak.
I would like to second that, for sure.
Yeah, I don't, unless it's an emergency.
No, I understand some things don't, but I mean, I've been on here a while, and we have passed some major things in one night that I didn't know anything about until Tuesday.
Right. And so, yeah, I'm probably good with doing first reading, then do second, third the next time, give the public at least a week, 2 weeks to talk.
Every time an ordinance is put before the council, y'all have the choice to read it all that night or
Right.
to defer it.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be a council decision each and every time an ordinance is presented.
Right.
And so we would just vote no for the second reading.
Right.
If
Or
you so choose.
you could, yes,
And see, it takes 2/3
right.
to move it. It takes 7 votes to approve it on first reading and put it on second reading. So, so if you think we need to put it in there, just vote no. We won't have 7 votes and it won't go.
It's just a
But
matter.
Brian, I think that might help in some of what you're wanting to do until COVID is over.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it. Moving on to E, discussion, updating the city website to include an in-depth plan for new residents to get started in Jacksonville. I'd love to see a checklist. I know last time we had the city council meeting, with the pit bull ordinance that I submitted, Mr. Dietz definitely mentioned, setting something up at the wastewater or at the water department, giving them a checklist. Like, I think that there should be a checklist made, maybe something that is easily downloadable from the main city website. When you go to the main city website, you click on new residents, it doesn't go anywhere. It goes to a missing page. Like, there's nothing there.
Okay,
for new residents.
I'm gonna let Mr. Dean step in here in
And
a
I think
second.
that's something that we should have.
He's
Again,
working
it's something
on
to
that.
let everybody know their options for internet, letting everybody know their deals for television,
Well, no,
all the
we
pets
can't
that are there,
advertise.
where they
for
need to
Trump.
go to get their water set up, where to get the trash picked up, where's City Hall at, when the council meetings,
Brian,
stuff like that.
Brian, just one quick thing on our website. If you go to the tab that says residents, not new residents, but residents, and I click on utilities, it pulls up every utility in Jacksonville.
That is
If I
correct.
go and I touch on where to eat, I'm sure it's a link to something. I mean, there are things, I agree that we want to be friendly to new residents, but I think it is there. It's just how do we get them to know it's there?
Yeah.
And I think that's what maybe Mike was going to talk about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Water
working on
department.
that. I've got with 3 or 4 of the department heads. I've got with code enforcement already. I've got a list from them. I've got with some other Jacksonville people that have given me some ideas. Got with Jake, and I've got with Jimmy. And within the next 10 to 12 days, I'll have a list of things that when they go to the water department, that could be put on a website real easy, Brian, like you said,
Right.
for new residents, but it's going to be helpful hints about garbage pickup, dates, times, what you can and can't do, the pit bull bans on there. There's going to be a lot of important facts to welcome people to Jacksonville, whether they're going to be tenants or renters or homeowners, that we want to help you and welcome you to our city. And these are items that could be important, and it'll have featured items and places of Jacksonville that you need to see. So I think that's, I think if you'll give me a little bit of time on that, I'm gonna say 10 days before the next meeting for sure. I'm gonna have a few people look at it. I think I'll have that for you, and then if there's a way to post it under that website, I think, we can do that too.
Yeah, we will.
Well, I would be willing to help. Like, I'm not trying to get somebody to do the job. Like,
No.
I mean, I don't mind helping to make this happen.
Yeah, no, I deal with a lot of new residents to Jacksonville, and you're welcome to help me. You can look at the list. I just want people to know what what we expect for them to help them be a better citizen of our great town of Jacksonville. And if they don't know, it's hard to hold them accountable. But this way, if they know and they get a copy of it, I did talk to Jake today, and I think we'll be able to get that through to everybody when they get to Waterville. Because in Jacksonville, just like most places, Jacksonville's wastewater is the only place that you have to have an application and go by there personally and see them and give a deposit. So with that being said, that way anybody that comes to Jacksonville will have access to this, which they won't be able to say, well, I didn't know that. Well, we'll be able to say, well, I'm sorry, we did give you that, and here's your website. So I'll work on that, and I'll get you to help me with that, Brian, and some other we're going to get it and make everyone feel welcome to Jacksonville, because we have a great city, and we just want them to feel welcome and to love it as much as most of us do.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Okay.
I guess moving on to F, the lighting for Main Street upgrade, replacing with the bright white LED, the daytime lights. The reason that I'm bringing this up, it's something that I've been bringing up for a while. I actually switched out all the lights of the parking lot for where my game store was located to kind of show the difference between what it looks like now and what it could look like. And I've been pushing to try to have the lights move to the bright white LEDs for a while. After speaking with Mr. Oakley, he actually went and contacted Energy, and they gave him a price of the lights, which, again, looking at this is very contrary to what the wastewater, Thea from the Wastewater Commission was saying. But like they're saying, it's like more expensive to have the LED lights. Now, I know that there's grants, because I was told there's grants, and we're supposed to, Mr. Oakland's going to set up an appointment for us to talk to the people at Energy about getting grants and getting credits and everything else like that. But I would like for us to go ahead and possibly put something down to change the lights from municipal to Bailey to these bright white LED lights. It's a cost of $7,340 for the year to change those to the bright white daytime LED lights. It'll make it look like it's daytime. It's to increase attention to downtown. Like we've been talking forever about wanting to try to have a downtown nightlife. It makes it inviting. It's also a safety issue. Like if you ever go downtown like at night, like literally it looks like something out of a horror movie, in my opinion. It's so dark and dismal. So I would definitely like to see this. I would like to see this happen, at least for us to see if it's worthwhile.
Of course, you are aware that Energy owns all the lights. We don't.
I am indeed. That's why we have the.
And we pay for
energy.
electricity on them, and I guess we're probably paying for some of the poles and lights and all that in that fee. But if you're welcome to do a ordinance or resolution, then see if you got support.
Mayor, I think Mr. Oakley had, Jim, you have something to say on this?
But it comes out of his pocket.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
And it's not budgeted for this year.
Nope.
Well, I was going to say, Mayor, you told me when I had my introductory meeting before I got sworn in, you told me that there was additional money in street that you could move around to pay for some things, and I was hoping that maybe we could pull the $7,000 from that, since it is a street expense.
I have a question why during the time of COVID, right now, why we want to draw more people together. I think it may be a good time in the long run, but for right now, under the current conditions, may not be the best time.
I want to hear what Jimmy's got to say.
Well, as Brian said, and I submitted to y'all, I think, a copy of my findings on the cost. We pay $5.75 for a 150 watt street light. To upgrade it to LED, Energy wanted $12.95. That's over twice as expensive. We're only using half the electricity. That is a true statement. I did look at some LED lights that's already been put up in some other areas. LED light is a brighter, better quality light in my opinion, but it comes with a significant cost. Brian came up and counted the lights today. I think it was 80 and some change.
86 lights.
So he did the math there, and I'm sure that's pretty accurate to $7,000. Now, as you know, the budget has been completed for 2021, so that we'd have to reallocate some line items or something to fund that.
So there is no, since we're paying just a night watcher bill, there is no incentives or credits or anything that you can get because we're just paying the bill. We're not actually replacing any lights. Is that right?
That is correct to my knowledge. Speaking to Energy Tuesday, they said it's just a flat rate. They said that most cities are waiting to try to get the cost. I guess Energy is charging more because they have to change that receptacle out. They own the pole, the light, and everything, and they charge us a flat rate every month. And so there is a significant, I guess, to change that light out to upgrade it, there's significant cost. And so they rate it 2.2, I think, percent higher.
And Brian, and I don't know this, but I might guess that the lights at wastewater are not night watcher lights that they're paying per pole. They're probably
They're all
lights.
metered. They're all metered. Everything in wastewater is metered.
So that means it's their lights, right?
Yeah, they own the lights.
They own the lights, and there are incentives, that you can get through Energy. Because if you look on your electric bill, there's an energy efficiency program, and that's how they give you that, is because you pay into it. But that's probably why wastewater was able to do it with grants and rebates, is because they're actually paying for the electricity on it, not a per pole cost.
We have used that same program at 2 or 3 of our other buildings here in the city in the past 4 years. And depends how much energy you save is how much of a more bigger rebate you got. We've had some buildings got a 50% rebate, some 35, depends on how much. The bigger the savings, the more rebate they give. And we switched over to LED. So and we have put them in several street department sanitation buildings, especially the lights that burns all night, 7 days, 365 days a year. We've cut our bill in half by using them in that. Turned out really good.
And we have to remember wastewater has their own budget, just like Jacksonville Jacksonville Water Works has their own budget that's set up for that. And like you said, if I remember well, I'm not sure, you might have to help me with it, but Theo said that they didn't get grants, it was out of their pocket.
Yeah, a lot of it was out of their pocket in the rebate they got.
It does surprise me that by saving half the energy or more, that they want over twice as much for the light, but that's
But you're right,
energy.
you're paying for the light.
That's right, we're just renting it, more or less.
You insinuated that price could go down as more cities do this.
That's what Entergy advised me. He said that most cities are looking and waiting, hoping the cost will go down in the future. Nobody can see it.
But Brian, with this, I do agree with you. Main Street is dark.
Very.
Sorry, Rose.
I agree.
I just said very.
It's a safety issue, and also, like I said, Mayor knows this. I was speaking with Ernie Biggs about coming to Jacksonville after they closed down their store. Thought it would be incredible to have a piano bar. The mayor went and talked to them, or the mayor talked to them with me. Like, we had everything set up. When they came to look at what downtown looked like, they decided they didn't want to be there. Like, they literally showed up and they're like, "Oh man, like this is what your downtown looks like at night." Nah, we're good. So there definitely is a perception issue with this. And again, there's 1,200 lights total in the entire city. From what I understand from Jimmy, from his stuff, there's 1,200 street lights total. I'm saying that maybe this cost of this $7,340 may be an acceptable cost, which it's going to be a varied cost anyway, because if the price does go down, this is going to go down. So it's a variable price of $7,340 for us to have a sample to see if that does change the perception of downtown and maybe makes it more appealing to more businesses to come down, because that's where we have a lot of empty businesses anyway. From municipal to Bailey is the area I'm looking at.
And I wouldn't be opposed to looking at putting it in next year's budget. All right, you wanna move on to G?
Sorry, give me just 1 second. So just to ask, again, this is a discussion. You don't think that this is important enough to where we should try a sample size of any size?
We can't do it tonight, Brian.
No, I know it's not an ordinance. I'm just
So-
asking,
so-
would a sample size be at all, do you think, feasible for this year and not have to wait for the next year's budget?
I think we should wait till next year's budget because we're in the pandemic and we don't know where it's gonna end. So I think we should just operate the city as best we can until the next time.
Remember that mask, you're not recording well.
I think we should not act on it, and I think we should wait until that pandemic is over, because I think we should work with the pandemic and work with the city. The city is doing well, and I think, the city's been dry for so many years, you can't expect Main Street to be an entertainment district.
Well, especially with it being super dark.
We're not disagreeing with you, saying it's just not the timing.
Okay, yeah, we can move on to G, which oh, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to stop.
I was going to say, hey, Brian and everybody, well, maybe if we get some more COVID money, since they're starting to pass out some more, if it doesn't work, maybe we could look at it down the road again for this year.
That'd be a good idea.
Because it might be a good idea, but I know we don't need to mess up the budget. But let's see if we get any COVID money that we have to spend, and then let's look at it again and see if it's something that we might want to look at that time.
Okay.
Sounds good.
And moving on to G was just, again, another discussion. None of this is ordinances or anything that I'm just wondering what the thoughts are, because I can't talk to you guys on an individual basis. So this is my forum to ask the ideas that I have. I had already presented this as a citizen. I brought it up, and it seemed like it was well received at the time, which maybe some things have changed since now, but I wanted to reintroduce the idea of renaming North Elm and Graham Road to Main Street, so that we could say Main Street goes all the way down to the Arkansas Game and Fish Shooting Complex. And basically that would turn all that area into Main Street, which may also make it appealing for more people to want to come build, do some economic development on there, knowing that they're on Main Street now. I mean, it's a little curve around. That's the only difference with North Elm. Yeah, I'm just curious what you guys think about changing those names. Mr. Oakley sent me a deal saying that there would definitely need to be a petition required, something that I did not know at the time. But I definitely would be fine with trying to get a petition together to see if this was something, because I think it could do nothing but help improve, again, the perception and look of the area. Like, people may be like, oh, well, this area is Main Street now, maybe we should do a little more for it.
Let me address that if you don't mind.
Sure.
It's no secret my ministry is located at 101 North Elm Street. I pay a lot of money for advertisement across the nation. I am not going to change my advertisement because it costs money. So I'm going to be in disagreement with it being changed into Main Street. That's just straight up. And we do have to do a petition and go to people and ask them, do they want it, just like we just did for Stonewall to get humps. So I'm totally in disagreement. Main Street starts downtown and goes all the way to M, and that's it. That's where the crossroads at. So I'm in disagreement with it.
I think it would be too much to ask of the citizens as well.
Yeah.
Grimwood Estates is on Grim.
It is. It sure is.
And, Nixons are what, fourth generation? Live there. It's actually named after Wally's great-grandpa or something.
Right.
Yeah.
We changed Motivated Avenue.
Yeah, it wasn't named after anybody like that. Graham Road wasn't. You know, I already did the research for this back when I brought it up as a citizen. So, but yeah, again, I'm just trying to think, improving the quality. Again, you name recognition and perception is everything, and I think if you slap a new name on something, people may actually value it more.
I have to disagree with that. I mean, Brian,
That's
just
why
for
this
one,
is a discussion.
I know, and I get it, but in Jacksonville, I have the hardest time telling somebody if they're on Marshall Road how to get to my house, because I tell them to go down General Samuels, take a left, go down about a quarter of a mile, and take a right on General Samuels. I mean, there is no need to change the names of streets. I don't see it.
If I lived there for 40 years, I'm gonna be mad.
Well, but there again, and I don't think it's necessarily a draw for businesses to be on Main Street. Have you ever located Main Street in Sherwood? It's in Gravel Ridge. It's Jacksonville Cutoff. That's Main Street in Sherwood. It's the only street they got that's Main Street. It doesn't have to be called Main Street to be commercial. My opinion.
Yeah.
May I jump in here a second?
Yeah.
Ron spoke to me about this back when he was a citizen, and at the time I thought it was a real good idea. But that was before the Nixons started developing Graham Acres, which is becoming a well-known new subdivision in town, and everybody knows where the Graham Acres new subdivision is, and that is significant.
And they're adding more houses.
Yep.
Okay, is that enough discussion on this discussion item?
Well, deal, yeah, I think I'm good on mine. Thank
All right.
you.
Let's go to H. Rose.
All right. Well, first and foremost, I want to thank y'all for your attention on this. We, as a city, have the opportunity to become more transformative through intentional actions by becoming more environmentally friendly and sustainable as a city. There's already a great deal of research from universities across the country, UALR included. Programs like AmeriCorps, whose purpose is to help communities take action. There's funding opportunities with the EPA's G3 program, just to name one, nonprofit advocates, and there will be many programs and grants to come with the new federal administration. We also have cities in Arkansas, like Fayetteville, who have already taken affirmative action. And just to read you guys the tip of the iceberg that they have on their city as far as what's been impacted, it's their community health and safety, natural systems, education and arts, community resiliency, jobs and economy, climate and energy, equity and empowerment, and built environment. So personally, I believe our community deserves to soar higher, which can be reasonably achieved through small actions that make a monumental difference. And I wanted to hear what you guys think and your feedback, and I would love to know who I would be potentially honored to working with on this.
So let me bring clarity. You want to establish an environmental committee,
Yes.
and your goal is?
To become a more sustainable, environmentally friendly city.
Councilman Rain, I'd like to work with you on it, but let's put it on the agenda. Let's put it on the agenda for next time.
Yeah.
We're too late in the evening to really discuss this, and I'll be glad to work with you on that. Be one of your committee members.
I appreciate that.
Could you agree to that?
I would definitely agree with that.
Because the Historic Commission, somebody from the Historic Commission needs to be on this also.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I would also would like to serve on that committee, being sanitation, recycling.
Yes.
We're a big part of natural resources.
I know I can't speak for it, but I'm pretty sure Councilmember Mashburn will want to be part of it.
Yes.
Okay, we'll put it on the next, so have Susan put it on the next agenda.
Is that all right with you?
Of course.
All right.
Okay. Time for State of the City. Fun time. And this is the time I get to talk a little bit. And I just want to say I am honored to serve as your mayor, to this council and to the citizens and to the departments of the city. This has been a year like no other. And it will definitely change our lives forever. We will never forget COVID-19, and it's impacted our community, our friends. We've lost loved ones. People have become sick and have long-term things, and even passed away. So, you know, the pandemic has also affected many ways, but the way that business is conducted. We're on Zoom. We never did Zoom before. You know, I do Zoom meetings almost daily. And, you know, before it was never that way. So I think these are some changes, some impact we're going to see. And it's not all bad to have a Zoom meeting because I don't have to travel. I save gasoline. And so it's not all bad. But we do have some new businesses that have come within the community. And you know, the business community has been affected in many ways by COVID. I mean, go to a restaurant, you know, some restaurants are never going to open their doors again. They're only going to do drive-throughs. So anyway, it's teaching business how to do business. So this time last year, I told y'all I'm looking for a new healthcare provider to take over the North Metro. Well, I'm pleased to announce that Unity Health is going to buy it. We have a closing date for next month. It looks like we're going to make that closing date, and they're
Bravo, bravo, bravo.
They're looking at putting a lot of money into the hospital, revamping it. They've gotten some architect drawing, got some more they're going to send me tomorrow. It's going to be a state-of-the-art. It's going to be a full hospital, and it'll be something that we can be proud of and something our citizens deserve. Another thing is we had our census in 2020, and I'm guessing we're going to be 10 to 15% increase in citizens, but it was a lot of work to get out and do that. And I want to say thank you to all those that got out in the trenches and did that work and collected that data. And so it's going to mean a major impact to our city and the monies we receive for schools and different things of that nature. And it'll be good to get new population signs at the city limits and see it go up. And you know, we saw the arrival of an Arkansas icon. Those of us that have a little gray in our hair remember West Hall's Minuteman. Well, Minuteman reopened in Jacksonville. It's their corporate headquarters. It's the first of many they have planned in Arkansas, and it's an Arkansas tradition that was started in Arkansas, and we're glad to have them here and have them open. And of course, across catty corner to them is Jacksonville's first microbrewer. That's put on their Facebook page. They're open February. I knew this was going to be a long meeting and didn't want to add him to this meeting, but I want to see if he'll come on our next meeting and kind of update us when he thinks it might be exact opening day. But he's got all the approval from ABC, and they're brewing right now. So you have to test brew for so long, and they have to come in. So I was going to try to get him here our next meeting to talk to us about it. We saw the construction going on Linda Lane of a new middle school, new elementary school. That's moved along very well. We're going to be a city that can be proud of the way our schools look, and I think we're working towards getting the grades better and the test scores better and all that. So we're proud to have our own school district and see them do all the things that they do. We just had a celebration of a new bridge on Oneida that connects Jacksonville and Sherwood. The other one really wasn't safe, and it's very important, but probably the best thing I saw was Pulaski County, Jacksonville, and Sherwood work together as a team to make this happen, to keep their citizens safe, to keep travel going the way it needs to go. And it's good to see regional working as a region instead of just as ourselves. And you know, the other new bridge that we're talked about earlier is Loop Road Bridge, and it's the last of 20. There was the National Transportation Safety Board said we're going to have these are what we recommend. And there was 20. We got the first one and the last one. So as soon as we get this Loop Road Bridge built, we won't be hearing the horns as they go through town. But main thing is people will be safe. You won't have to cross over that crossing. They'll have a sidewalk on it so you can walk across it. And it's a pretty big undertaking, but it'll be good for the city, good for getting from that side of town. And it also can make faster response time for Foxwood, for that area of town, because they can't go that way because they are afraid they'll get caught by the train. So it'll be good for our fire department and our police department in response, and our EMS. So also we've got our new dog park under construction. You know, it'll be a work in progress somewhat, but we'll keep adding things to it. We have dog washing station and a place to go, you know, take the family, have lunch, and it's going to be a first-class thing that we're going to be proud of. It may not bring 1 jillion people to Jacksonville, but there are people in Jacksonville that are tired of going somewhere else where there's a good dog park, and I bet we will have some that come from outside the city, and maybe they'll stop and buy something for here. Okay, and again, we've heard this. Thea talked about it. RDOT's promised me this year they're going to let the contract out on widening 67 and 167. I signed some things for Jake for the easements, to the land that city owns, to move the water. So they say they're going to make it happen, and I'm pushing them to fix the service roads, because there's some bumps on those service roads that need to be fixed real bad. And Councilmember Smith has asked me, and I've reached out to him. And Jimmy, I may need your help in getting them to move on fixing those. You know, we have the American Sports Complex I'm wanting to do out on Wooten Road, and a microbus system within the city, service citizens well. COVID has kind of put an end to that for now. There's no travel, but it's just sitting there, and as soon as COVID's gone, we're going to get back to work on it. We've got drawings and business plan about completed, so then we just need to go out and raise some money. You know, due to COVID, which it seems like that's all we talk about all the time is COVID. But, you know, Parks and Rec has done a tremendous job of keeping people safe, sanitizing and doing what they have to do. But also they got creative. We had a reverse trunk or treat and a reverse Christmas parade. And they were both a good success, and a lot of people attended them. And, you know, still, you know, we got a new police chief this year. We got Chief Hibbs, and I think he's doing a tremendous job in his force. You know, still they're having to go out and deal with this COVID. And, of course, the pride of the city, our fire department, they are first hands with this pandemic and what's going on. And I just want to say thank you to them, both departments, for what they do in fearlessly serving the people of Jacksonville and taking care of them. And when we talk about the Zoom, well, we got a new IT director, Emily Osment, and so we're doing this Zoom because of stuff she did. To be able to watch it, to be able to do it because of stuff that the IT department did, and I want to thank them for what they've done. Now, Public Works, you know, they're kind of in the background, sanitation, but people are working from home. Guess what else they're doing? They're cleaning out their storage building. They're trimming trees. They're taking food home, and we're having more trash. So the sanitation and all the public work departments done this. I want to give you a big hand for keeping the trash up, keeping the city clean, and doing all that you can. And, you know, I know I'm just sounding like I'm just bragging, but 23rd year in a row, Jacksonville has received the Certificate of Excellence Award in their finance department. And so I just, you know, they're always there. They're always working hard. They're always protecting taxpayer money and trying to stretch a dollar as far as it would go. Just getting a dollar out of Cheryl is tough. So just know that. And I just want to say that we have great employees in Jacksonville. We have around 300 employees. They're not overpaid. They're mostly underpaid and overworked, but they're there and they're doing a good job. And I just want to say thank you to all those employees that we have in Jacksonville and my department heads that keep it running like it's supposed to be running. And a big thank you to that, because this is a tremendously difficult time for them. As they battle with COVID in their lives, their friends, and everybody's life has changed a little bit. You're not going to dinner with your friends much anymore. So, and lastly, I just want to say I'm looking forward to 21, the new things to come. We do have a bright future. We got jobs coming to the hospital. I have several industries that have talked to me about expanding and adding jobs. And so, you know, I'm really excited about the new jobs and that. And I'm looking forward to working with my council and us working as a team together and working with my two new council members, Ms. Raines and Mr. Blevins. Looking forward to working with you and let's get some things done. And no, I don't think everything you think is bad, Brian. And so, but I'm looking forward to those, and I promise I'm going to keep recruiting restaurants. I'm going to keep recruiting business. I'm going to keep trying to help industry grow. But I can't do it alone. We're going to have to do it together, but we can make it happen. Thank you. Anything else come before this council? I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Oh, hold on real quick. I just want to say thank you again, Mayor, for the hospital.
Okay, you're welcome.
Like, it's so incredible. It's something that everybody's been talking about for years. I'm glad that it's finally coming to fruition. And yeah, it's incredible. Thank you.
It's not just any old hospital. It's a quality healthcare group that's well respected. They're going to spread their residency program here. They look to have the emergency room open later this summer. And it's going to be something we're proud for people to see when they come to town, when they look at here and go, wow, that's a hospital. And so I've got a doctor's group that when we close in the hospital, they're buying the building right behind the ER, and we're having new doctors come to town. So already you can see the interest coming in, and where you have a good hospital, you have restaurants and hotels. So there we go.
I would also like to state, like, I am a very agreeable person, but I definitely am wanting to prioritize this because I would like to be ahead of the curve instead of behind the ball, you know? And with that being said, I would like to put in the first motion to adjourn this meeting.